guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's video is all about the worst interview questions because whether or not you are prepared for them, they will come up. So you want to put yourself in a great position so that you are better prepared to answer these horrible questions that no one likes, but guess what? They always come up. So it's best to think about them, think about the answers. You never want to sound rehearsed, but you definitely want to be prepared so that the answers come out fluently, they come out naturally, and it makes sense, and you put yourself in a great position so that you can land your dream job or graduate program or residency. And so I'm going to talk about the 3 worst questions that I constantly got when I was applying to residency programs and basically how I answered these questions. And I thought that, being able to be prepared for the interviews is one thing, but being able to have good, confident answers to really bad questions is a whole nother ball game. So let's get started. The 3 worst questions are, what are your weaknesses? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And why should we choose you? Those are literally the worst questions because you have to answer in a positive way, but you don't want to sound like you're full of yourself. And so it's really difficult to navigate around those 3 questions, but they will come up. Someone will ask you 1, 2, or even 3 of those questions in the same interview. So you want to make sure that you have an idea of what you want to say in response. So let's talk about the first question, which is probably the question I dislike the most, which is, tell me about your biggest weakness. And that question is really bad because you don't want to be like, oh, I am really lazy, and reveal your deepest, darkest secrets, but you also don't want to be like, I am a perfectionist, and I'm a perfectionist. And that answer is, in a sense, you trying to say that it's negative, but everybody knows that being a perfectionist is kind of a good thing. And so you don't also want to answer this question with a positive quality and try to come off as that's my biggest weakness. That's also something that you don't want to do. So this is my strategic answer to this really bad question. You want to tell them about a quality that might not be your best quality, but you want to provide them with how you were able to overcome this quality. So for example, you could say, I often overcommit, and that's one of my greatest weakness. So at the end of the week, I'm very stressed and drained. You don't want to stop there though. You don't want to end the sentence there. You want to say, that has always been a struggle of mine. However, you always want to attach a however there. However, I have been really working on this, and one of the ways that I have been able to overcome this problem is I have decided that I can only commit to 3 things a week. And so at the end of the week, if I've committed to 3 things and I'm asked to commit to a 4th thing, I kindly decline. That way I know that I have enough time for my professional life, my social life, and I'm able to balance both without being overcommitted. So that's a great answer to this question because 1, you've been able to give them an actual bad quality. So overcommitting can be a bad quality, but you've also given them a solution to how you've been working on it. So it shows that you're somebody who is constantly adapting and changing and trying to improve. And you've also given them an idea of how you're able to kind of navigate your weaknesses after identifying them. So it's a really good answer to that question. And if you answer truthfully, it comes out even more naturally. So for me, overcommitment is a big problem of mine. I overcommit to a lot of different things. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I'm always involved in a million different things. And sometimes that could be really, really bad and is not really good for you, especially if you have a really demanding job or position and they know that, so they don't want you to be somebody who's super overcommitted and drained at the end of the week. And so, you say, I recognize that this is my weakness and that's my solution to it. So that is a really good answer and something that you can come up with for yourself. So we got the first question down. The second question that I really, really dislike is, where do you see yourself in 5 years or 10 years? And the reason why I dislike this question is because there is always an ulterior motive to this question. A lot of the different programs have specific things that they really like. For example, certain residency programs really like research and really want someone to come on who's gonna say, oh, my 5-year plan is that I'm going to publish 25 research papers. I mean, that's crazy, but that's what they want to hear, something like that. And so there's always an ulterior motive to this question, and this is where the hard part comes in. If you're interviewing for a residency program or a graduate program that you really, really, really love, make sure you do your due diligence before going to the interview and research what that program is all about. What do they really care about? What do they really, really love? What are they really interested in? And your answer should be truthful, but also should kind of incorporate some of the things that are big priorities for this program. So if it's a research heavy program, you want to say, in 5 or 10 years, I am really interested in being in some sort of faculty position, and because as a faculty, a lot of faculty have research, and so you can say, I want to be in academia, I want to have a faculty part-time position, and I also want to work in private practice part-time. So that is a perfectly acceptable answer, and you're able to answer that question truthfully, but also incorporate some of the things that are really important to that program. So that is in a nutshell how I would answer that question, and that question should elicit different answers for different programs that are a little bit customized to that program. You don't want to be dishonest. You don't want to say, oh, I plan to have a research lab, and that's my passion, that's what I want to go into, when you have absolutely no interest in research. But you do want to kind of tailor your answer a little bit to fit some of those programs, especially if you're super, super interested in that program. That means you like the fact that they do a ton of research, or you like the fact that they're super, passionate about public health, or whatever it may be. So of course, if you really, really want to go to that program, it resonates with you anyway, just make sure that you incorporate that into your 5 or 10 year plan, so that your answer is something that excites them and they're like, yes, we want this applicant. So that is how you answer that second horrible question. Finally, we're getting to the third horrible question, which is, a question that I don't really know why people ask this question, but I definitely had a hard time answering this question. And really, it takes a little bit of finesse to be able to answer something like this. But the third question is, why should we choose you? And the reason why this is a horrible question is because you have to boast about yourself. And nobody really likes someone who just boasts about themselves. But I think you can twist this answer to make it a little bit more politically correct, and a little bit sounding less like you're, just like overly confident, and a little bit more like, this is why I think I'm a good fit for your program. So the way that I like to answer this question is to be able to incorporate, well, you should choose me because you're going to benefit me, but I'm also going to benefit you. So for example, you could say, well, this program is, their top priority is preventative medicine, and I have a public health master's, and this is one of my biggest passions. So I really feel like I can flourish in this program because of everything that you have to offer, but I also feel like I can give back to this program with the things that I've learned in the past and the things that I'm interested in and want to continue to learn in this program. So do you see how that kind of answer incorporates why you're a good fit for that program and why that program is a good fit for you? So it's kind of like a mutually beneficial relationship, and that's the kind of answer that you should provide for them, so that they know you are also choosing, and you're choosing them just like they should be choosing you. So those are really the kind of answers that you should be thinking about when you are preparing for your interview, whatever it may be. Honestly, these questions come up to anything and everything. And so having really good answers and being prepared is the key to a successful interview, and how I made it through tons of interviews when I was going through the residency process. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful. Please make sure that you comment below with your questions, or the questions that kept coming up on your interviews, so that you can help others with really good answers. And so go ahead and comment below, like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, you guys, and follow me on Instagram. My handle is @15blades. I share lots of different tips and tricks, and you can follow my journey through residency. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I will see you next time.